There's a strange little man who lives in my father's lab. He doesn't seem so strange when you first look at him. I mean, he walks in the door every morning at 10 till 9, carries with him his briefcase, his old manual Olivetti typewriter, and all of his notes and belongings and physics texts. He brings them back to his desk, organizes all his things, sets down, and he works until 5 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 5:05 on a good day. Then he packs up all his belongings and goes home. The strange thing is that he's not an employee of my father, the University of Chicago, nor is he a student anywhere. He's just this strange little man who one day showed up and made himself at home, and nobody knows exactly what he does or where he comes from or what he's doing there or when he's going to leave. My father, in case I haven't made it clear, is a professor of physics at the University of Chicago, and he has tenure, so he has a lot of extra lab space that he doesn't always need. You know, rooms in which he may not be at a particular time running an experiment or anything. So he has this one room next to his office, where for the past 3 years, he hasn't really been doing a lot in there. It's been mostly storage space, and, well, this is where the strange little man has made himself at home. He's quiet most of the time. He seems pretty focused on whatever it is that he's doing, scribbling and taking lots and lots of notes in very small, tiny, immaculate handwriting. He won't share them with anybody for the most part. Nobody really knows what exactly his project is. But he does work at it relatively diligently, every day, 5 days a week, 52 weeks a year. If he's going to be late, he always calls in to let my dad know that he's going to be late. Or if he's going to miss a day, he's always sure to call in sick. My father has tried to get rid of the strange little man. I mean, he does get to be something of a nuisance at times. Not during the normal course of any given day's activities, because, as I said earlier, there is plenty of room for him to do his thing without bothering anybody. But when visitors come by, he seems to always be ready to introduce himself as Jim so-and-so of the Winston group, at which point my father really doesn't know what to do about this strange little man who's passed himself off as one of his research assistants or something. And most of the visitors just take him at face value and assume that he's a graduate student. Until he starts talking about physics, at which point he stops making sense. Some of the bolder visitors even ask my dad, "What is this guy doing here?" My father, the best thing he's been able to come up with to say is, I don't know what he's doing here.
Hi guys, Joe here again. Welcome back to the basement. So I have a couple of footnotes to the strange, sad saga of the strange little man. The first one, I think, and most important one, is that this story is completely and 100% factual with plenty of omission but no exaggeration. And, well, when it debuted at our June 2nd live performance of This Week in Joe's Basement, an entire show which was in fact entitled The Strange Little Man Who Lives in My Father's Lab, nobody seemed to believe it at all. Just goes to show that if you just come up with some reality that's so preposterous, and just are completely frank about it, nobody will believe you. It's too far out. Anyway, well, after showing this piece to a University of Chicago and Hyde Park audience, I was really afraid that there would be like a long line of tourists gathering to see the strange little man and like be pressing their faces against the glass of the window of the door of my father's lab, but since nobody believed it was true anyway, they just thought I'd gotten some actor to look really strange and comb his hair for me and all those other things. That didn't happen. But something even stranger did, if you ask me, which is a couple weeks after the performance, my father had come back from about a month or so out of town, and his graduate students were complaining bitterly about the strange little man interfering with their work. And so my father, once again, as he's done before, asked the strange little man to please leave, and the strange little man actually agreed. And I don't think he was in the audience when I showed the piece. I think that would have been really awkward. None of my people saw him at any rate. But he probably knew about it because all the posters along 57th Street, which is along the route from his, where he gets off the train to come to my father's lab, you can see I've researched this man closely. All the posters for our show were torn down. So he knew something was up. And, well, he spotted the camera that we planted in the lab. So maybe that had something to do with him deciding to leave. It might also have something to do with the fact that he seems to have found someone else to take him in. Oh my God. Anyway, so, well, we have another segment that we produced, which debuted June 2nd, which I'd like to get into a little more detail, actually, with you television viewers, which is we wanted to, I was curious about what it's like to play singles matches ads, but I wasn't curious enough to actually do it. So, going the vicarious route, I put an ad in the reader soliciting responses from people who'd placed singles matches ads, and got to visit these people in their homes and find out vicariously what that experience is like.
I started 9 years ago. I've taken out 4 ads, and I've replied to several since, but I've done like 2 ads when I was 20 and 21. I'd say I met about 60 people. I've had, 1, 2, 3, 4 serious relationships with men that I've met through personal ads.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, they've all been great guys. They're normal. They're not psycho killers. One today is a neurologist today. The other one's a medical student. The other one's an art director. Another one is he hangs wallpaper.
Okay. But Sutton will be right back. This is weird. but I should try to get used to it.
You'll get used to it.
Yeah, I know.
So you still have a copy of this ad that Susie placed that you answered.
Right.
And so you guys are what, married now, or?
No, actually, we're not yet.
Whose kids are these?
Sutton is Susie's daughter from her first marriage.
Gotcha.
Or her second marriage. And third's a charm now. And Stevie is our neighbor's kid.
Oh, okay.
So, but she put the ad in with a friend of hers. Here, do you want to have the honors, honey? It's your ad. You read it.
Oh,
You can
boy.
explain it to him.
Yeah, I did this with a friend. I'm S, she's B. So B is beautiful blonde, single white female, 33. S, sensational strawberry brown, divorced white female with child, 34. Hi.
No problem.
She's in there, Maggie. B likes dancing, work, exercise, music, especially Latin, dining, tattoos, affection. Don't like funky attitudes, crowds, dishonesty. S, me, likes my kid, music, cartoons, exercise, long hair, kissing, tofu resale. My 60s attitude, that got a big response. Don't like racism, NutraSweet, call now, no BS.
I think I started out with fun, and then like fun, single white female, and however old I was at the time. You know, I did a brief description of how I looked. I said very attractive, because from what I had understood through friends and also from my experience, everyone says they're attractive.
Right.
So therefore, you know, I figured I could then be very attractive if everyone else was attractive. So, yeah, and then I just kind of said I had eclectic taste from, you know, Sinatra to The Clash and Elvis Costello to Mozart, you know, whatever. That I like, you know, going to the music box and facets and just different things, music and all kinds of different things I like to do. And I was amazed. You call into a local number and you can retrieve your messages. And I'd call in and think, oh, you know, maybe there'll be one or two. And I thought maybe if I got 10 or 20 responses over a 2-week period, that would be pretty good. And I got over 250.
Ouch.
And there were some people who would call 3 and 4 times. Well, I left you my beeper number, and my beeper went off, and I wasn't sure that you really knew how to use the beeper. So here, let me explain it to you again. And it was amazing. It ran the gamut from musicians and artists and actors to doctors and lawyers and the station manager from a local television station. Salesman, you know, I mean, you name it. It was amazing. I mean, some people, they pick up on one word. Like, I think in my first ad, I put down, like, pizza. I put that down because I thought it was kind of a common, kind of unpretentious thing. You know, I didn't say, oh, I love escargot and, you know, champagne. I mean, pizza. I'm just a gal. I like ethnic food and pizza. And some people picked up on that, and they said, well, I think we'd be great together because I like pizza too. It's like, you've got to be kidding me. You really are kidding.
You know, it's just amazing what you meet sometimes, you know, I'm like, I ask her, are you fat? She goes, well, not really, but I really don't want to embarrass you until you come and meet me, you know, you be the judge. And I look at her and go, well, I could pretend she looks nice and beautiful, but when I think about it, she's not, you know, and I go, well, you know, it's nice to meet you, nice to know you, and, you know, if I'm further interested, I'll contact you. You know, I would be better as just a job interviewer, I think, you know, because I could really screen the people and get rid of the ones I don't want. Just
Right.
delete them from the database.
How's Charlie get along with your kids?
Charlie's great with Sutton.
One kid.
Do you like Charlie?
Yeah.
Well, that settles it
Sound
then.
convincing.
You have to wait, honey. That's worked out real nicely. I was pretty... that was really important that our relationship stayed intact, Sutton's and mine, and that he was able to integrate into that in a way that didn't take anything from her. And also, part of the deal with us is that we're a package, so if he gets me, he also gets her.
Do you usually get the guys you're looking for?
Do I usually? Yes. I've had 4 relationships. Yeah, I'd say I've found the guys out. When I was 20 and I did my first ad, I was looking for a good-looking, hunky All-American. I found him in my first ad. The second ad, I was looking for a guy who wasn't that cute but was really accomplished. He was a medical student who's now a neurologist today. I found him in my second ad. And my last 2 ads, I found sort of what I was looking for.
You find lying about your age helps?
No, not really. Not really. Not really. I haven't had anyone reject me because of my age.
So in other words, you think you might be too old for some of these men or too young?
I haven't been rejected because of it, so I wouldn't know.
Gotcha.
I just lie about it because I feel like people think what's wrong with you, that you're at that age and you're not married yet and you're still doing personal ads.
Right.
That's why. You know.
Aha. Aha. Have you developed a series of sort of, I don't know, guidelines or rules for, you know, what men's responses really mean?
Yes, if they say that they look like someone famous, they don't. One guy said he was like Sam Shepard, but only in his dreams. Another guy who said he was like Tom Selleck, which was not exactly a drawing point for me, but that poor guy, I don't know where he got that. He was hallucinating when he said that. And that was probably one of the only times that I actually was walking up, realized that this was the person I was supposed to be meeting, and almost turned around and walked away. That's when I'm pretty proud of the fact that I've never, even though it's been some pretty funky circumstances, and I have not ever turned away and walked away from anybody, even though they look like a 300-pound Kiefer Sutherland.
For me, I come from the Jewish background, and most people from my background happen to be a lot more well-off than I am. So the girls that have been answering my ads, I sort of know this because I talk to a lot of people in the areas that they live in. Most of the incomes are $50,000 a year plus, so I feel very inferior. But the way I look at it, it's like, hey, I may not be rich in money, but I am rich in looks, so at least I have something to offer. You know, it's like, I got the looks, you got the money. Hey, let's get together.
Funny thing about Charlie was, well, first I had to listen to his message a couple times to hear the phone number.
So I rattled it off because I was like,
And then
I can't believe I'm doing this.
when I called him back, what was different was he wasn't willing to talk on the phone. He gave me just enough information.
Get her interested.
Right, to get me interested, and then he said, no, I want to meet you. So that was different from what all the other people had done. And I think that worked well. But we have a lot, what we found is we have a lot in common in a lot of ways. And I think that's why we hit it off. It still baffles me that it happened and it worked, and I never, ever, ever suspected that something like this would work.
I'm waiting to send an invitation to all my ex-classmates and say, where it says, Mr. and Mrs. announced the engagement of their daughter to Doctor. And emphasize, yes, that stands for MD.
Gotcha. Well, thanks very much, Pam. Thanks for cooperating with us.
You're welcome.
Well, Pam stormed out of the theater after seeing that piece, actually another of the hazards of showing something live. You don't have quite the same barrier between the producer and the audience. I was crouched by the exit, hiding, as I like to do during shows. Oh, I guess I'll never get to do that again. Now you people know where I'm going to be. And she stormed out after her piece was done. I don't know quite whether it was because she couldn't stand the rest of the show or whether because she was not flattered by my representation of her. Anyway, Pam, I'm really sorry, but I'm sure you're probably not watching. Oh well, anyway, so as those of you who've been following Joe's Basement regularly are probably acquainted with, this is in fact going to be our last episode of the regular TV series, though I expect we may be back in one form or another. We're certainly very enthusiastic about pursuing these live shows, and if I can find a way to break even at them, I'll be even more enthusiastic. Well, anyway, so some of the faithful are probably wondering, exactly why it is we've decided to hang it up and call it quits on the series. Is it low ratings? No, can't be that. That never stopped us before. This is Access, right? Is it fatigue or creative burnout or other conflicts or I don't know, whatever else it could be. What is it? Well, glad glad you asked, because we were filming the other day on one of our familiar occasions when we didn't have any material for an episode, so I started the camera rolling on something, hoping to get some ideas. When something happened, and I think you better just see it for yourself. So check it out for the rest of this week in Joe's Basement.
So what's this? What's going to be the next episode? What are we doing here today?
Oh, I don't know. I just maybe if I film you guys eating, you'll do something, you'll drop something or spill something or do something amusing.
One of the Joe Winston 30-minute wonder shows. Joe?
Yes?
I hope you don't use what I just said, Joe. Now he's gonna use it! Fuck! Busted! Oh, God. Oh, dear. Oh, jeez. Sifting the flour. So, did you see that movie? Did you see that thing Joe was doing? Oh, yeah. But you were in it, weren't you? You were saying something about you being a total idiot. Yeah, that was me.
We can always, like, fuzz your face out or something.
That's right, you'll have to adjust my voice. I'll sound like one of the chipmunks.
So can one of you guys do something different? I'm getting bored of watching you cook.
Well, if you want to eat, then you have to cook first.
Does it take both of you guys, though? Bob seems to be mostly preparing stuff for himself.
The story of Bob's life. Gelatin? Put this shit away once and for all before I get to some trouble. I don't get it. What's it gonna... Why would they get you? The moisture sauce. You're putting him in the pancakes. Seasoning.
Hey, Noel, will you get that?
Oh, sure.
It's probably Martin.
Who's it? Sure. Hi.
Samuel Carter with the FCC. Joe?
Yeah.
There you go, Noel.
Programming people, see, at Chicago Access, and they gave me your address here. Well, I thought it was best that I come over and discuss this in person.
Okay.
Well,
So, trying to come in?
communications? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've been looking into your case for quite some time. Do you mind if I come in?
No, go ahead.
Oh, thank you. We've, you and your little program have violated a number of statutes of Article 6. I think it's about time we clean this up. I just want to go over some of the charges with you, Joe, before I carry out the procedures of Article 6, Section B. It's confiscation of the offending materials, fines, criminal charges, or so forth. Now, we've got you for 16 counts of unlawful...
Guys, just stay right, just stay there.
For advertising purposes, proper organizations, for charges of invasion of privacy, including videotaping people without first having obtained the proper release forms. We've also got you down here for a number of minor infractions, misrepresentation of public officials in violation of the 1979 Fairness in Media Act, a few other technical irregularities, which leave you well shy of U.S. SMPTE standards for broadcast signal quality. Now, since you're in violation of all 5 of the subsections of Article 6, I am authorized by the Federal Communications Commission to seize all the offending properties for review and subsequent disposal. Now, a failure to comply with the FCC regulations on this matter could subject you to as much as $100,000 in fines and a jail sentence of up to 5 or 6 years. So, Mr. Winston, the tapes, please.
Huh?
The master videotapes, please, of This Week in Joe's Basement, episodes 16 through 57, and your signature right here so that no duplicates exist. Would you sign here, please, Mr. Winston?
I'm not really Joe Winston.
You're not... You're...
Bob, let's get out of here. Come up. What are you doing? Man, what level are you on?
I'm only on level 2. But I only have 2 lives left, so just wait till I die, alright?
Dude, that's gonna take forever. Let's get out of here. It's a nice day out. Come
Aw,
on.
come on. There's just
No.
one more level.
No.
Alright, I'll just pause it.
Come on, come on, come on. It's nice outside.
Play softball? Yeah. Alright, where's my bat? Cool.
Hey, Chris, you wanna play softball?
Yeah, I
Instead
think
of
so.
filming us?
Sure, I think so.
Why don't you get rid of that camera? Let's get out of here.